So you went against my advice and you dated a single mother. And now you want to wife her up. Now you want to be a stepfather. Oh, man. Never be a stepfather. That's the long and short of it. Never be a stepfather. Never be a stepfather. The rest of this video is going to be an explanation to that truism, but never be a stepfather, because if you become a stepfather, you're going to get the extremely short end of the stick. Actually, you're going to get a very long stick right up the ass. Let's get to it. I once heard Sargon of Akkad, who is a stepfather, I once heard him say that he wasn't a cuck. That Sargon said he wasn't a cuck. That he was, by raising his wife's kid, he was actually reverse cucking the biological father. Oh, man. I mean, self-deception knows no bounds. No. When you're a stepfather, you are getting cucked out. You are raising another man's kid. There's no other way to look at it. You can go through all kinds of mental gymnastics to get out of that fact, but it remains. You are raising another man's child. Now, there's a reason that lions and zebras and shit and a whole bunch of other animals in the animal kingdom, see, when a prospective stepfather shows up, you know what the first thing he does? Or, the lion, the zebra, whatever it is, he kills the cubs. Yeah, he kills the bastards. Obviously, and it makes complete sense. It makes complete sense. I mean, it's ruthless, merciless, immoral, sure. But from the point of view of Darwinian survival of the fittest, it makes complete sense. Think about it. When you raise another man's child, you are devoting your resources to the advancement of another man's kid, not your own. Everybody's resources are finite, and most of us have limited resources. Very few of us are billionaires that can afford to have 50 kids, no problem, and treat them all equally on a material basis. So if you're raising and paying for some other guy's kid, you are inevitably going to be taking away resources from your own children. From the point of view of the single mother that you wifed up, it's not going to really matter, of course, because your kids or the other guy's kids, they're all her kids, right? But from your point of view, you're devoting precious, limited resources to another man's child. So you are essentially depriving your own children of those resources. By helping your wife's kid, you're hurting your own children. Now, here comes something else, of course. See, if you're raising another man's child, right? Your single mother wife, right? She has one kid, two kids, who knows how many the slut has, right? She's devoted to the kid that she already has, right? So she's not going to have much incentive to have your kids, now is she? I mean, why would she bother to have your kids? She already has at least one kid, right? By the other guy, or the other guys, as the case may be, right? So why is she going to inconvenience herself by having your kid? I mean, I haven't looked at the statistics, but you should. I'll bet you that single mothers, when they get married again, have a lower pregnancy rate than women who have never had a kid when they get married. I'll bet you that's the case. I mean, I don't really know, but it seems logical, obvious. From the point of view of the woman, why go through the inconvenience of having a third kid if she's already got a couple by other guys? Why have a third kid by the new husband, presumably you? Why would she do that? So she's going to have less incentive to have kids than you are, okay? And that's inevitably going to create all kinds of friction, all right? And forget about like the actual interaction between you and the kids. The stepkids, the kids that aren't yours, the kids that are another man's children. See, because like I said in the previous video, if you try to discipline the kid, mommy's going to get in the way inevitably, because mothers always get in the way of a father trying to discipline the kid. Natural father or stepfather, right? Because that's the way mothers are, because they always feel sorry for the kid, right? And so the stepfather will try to discipline the child, the stepchild, and what will the mother of the child say? You're not his real father, so don't do that. Don't hit him. Don't, discipline him. Don't put him on the path. That's what she's going to say. That's going to be her knee-jerk reaction. That's going to be her go-to phrase. And that phrase emasculates every man, every stepfather at least, right? Yeah, because, see, the kid isn't yours. You don't have any rights to the kid. You don't have the right to discipline the kid. Yeah. Oh, but you're going to have the obligation to take care of the kid. Oh, yeah. You're going to have the obligation to take care of the kid whenever the kid does something good, you know? He graduates from high school. Who's going to pay for the new car? You're going to pay for it. Allowance, college, all that shit. You're going to pay for it. You're going to fucking pay for it. Not the other guy. Not the biological father. Your resources are going to go to pay this kid's car, education, whatever. But whenever the kid screws up, it's going to be you can't say anything to the kid because you're not his real father. You're the stepfather. So you'll only have a carrot for the kid, no stick. You'll be totally emasculated. And so what's that going to do to the kid? Huh? What do you think is going to do to the kid? The kid's going to be spoiled. He's going to be entitled. He's going to smirk at you because the kid's going to know, or the kids, plural possibly, they'll know. And even if you have a kid with the single mother, right? Say the single mother has one kid and she has a second one with you, right? Well, the fact that the older kid can get away with shit, no matter how integrated and quote-unquote blended you all are, right? Your own kid is going to pick up on it. Your own kid is going to realize that you're not really the man of the house. You're kind of like gelded. And you think that your kid is going to respect you as he should? Were you the only man in the house, the father of all the children? You think? You think? Or you think not? Huh? Guess. Oh man, it's so fucking pathetic. Stepfathers. Jesus Christ. The only time a stepfather can be respectable is when all of the children are grown and out of the house and living their lives, and the older parents decide to get married. And that kind of situation of a step-parent, that's perfectly acceptable. And you don't have any of these tensions, of course, because, see, tensions over children arise during their upbringing. You see what I'm saying? See, yeah, because when you are raising kids, that's the most stressful time with the kid. Once the kid is in his 20s and he's out of the house and living his life and shit, yeah, stress drops off to zero. Responsibility of the parents towards the child drops off to zero, because parents are the representatives of the child in the wider society. They have to make sure that the kid does everything proper insofar as the wider society, up until the age of 18 or 21 or whatever, up until the time that the kids become adults. But a stepfather, well, he's always going to have one arm tied behind his back now, won't he? No, yes, he will. Yes, he will. That's his fate. Now, here's something else I noticed growing up, because I grew up in a time, in a place where there were like a lot of step-parents around, a lot of blended families. I hated that expression, blended family. It reminded me of blended scotch and blended coffee, but, fake, trying for something, trying to make a nice-sounding word for a fundamentally unhappy situation. One of the things I noticed was that, see, if the kid was a fuck-up, if the kid was the step-kid, was a fuck-up, the stepfather resented him profoundly, because he wasn't able to discipline the kid, trying to get the kid back on track, right? Because you're not the biological father, right? The go-to excuse of every stepmother ever, right? So, if the kid was a fuck-up, the stepfather resented the kid, because he had to pay for the kid whenever the kid did anything good, and bite his tongue whenever the kid fucked up, right? But see, something else happened, because I tended to be in like gifted programs growing up. And so I saw a lot of kids, gifted kids, who were just exemplary in all kinds of ways. And they had a stepfather. And the stepfathers resented the kid, the exemplary kid, the kid in the gifted program, resented him I mean, enormously. It was really weird. It took me a long time to figure it out until, because I'm not an envious guy. I'm not an envious personality. If somebody has a Ferrari, good on them. Do I wish I had a Ferrari? Sure. But, I don't care if the other guy has a Ferrari. But most people aren't like that. Most people are envious. Most people express their envy by way of resentment. And stepfathers, and I saw this firsthand, stepfathers with exemplary kids, with kids who were just like on the ball, good students, dedicated, hardworking, all the rest of it. Those stepfathers hated the kid because the kid wasn't his. And you knew it. The kid wasn't his. Yeah? And he resented the kid because he resented the fact that he wished to have a kid like that. And sometimes, and this was the tragedy, see, the stepchild was exemplary, and the actual son of the stepfather was a fuck up. See? Oh! That was extraordinary. I mean, the kind of familial nightmare that took place in those situations. I saw this shit, right? And I'm sure that social workers or whatever the fuck are probably kind of trying to gloss it over. Bullshit. They can gloss it over all they want with PC bullshit and blended families and all this crap, but I saw it. And it makes sense. It makes complete and utter sense. Okay? Because at the end of the day, we're animals. We're human beings, yeah, sure. And we've got this great civilization, yeah, sure. But we are animals. We respond to our environment like animals. We respond to our family situation like animals on an emotional level. And you can't legislate away envy, and you can't legislate away resentment. And see, that's what you got in a lot of these situations, right? Right. Damn, man. Remembering some of that shit, it was just awful. And the worst part? The worst part of the whole situation of stepchildren? The worst part of the situation of stepchildren is even if the stepfather and the stepchild have a perfect relationship, I'm talking just peas in a pod, even if they have the perfect relationship and all the rest of it, if the mother and the stepfather, i.e. you, if you and the single mother ever divorce, well, you're never going to see the stepkid again. Unless he's old enough to contact you on his own, you don't have any rights to the kid, right? Maybe you adopt him, and maybe in those circumstances, yeah, you'll have some rights to the kid, right? But most of the time, most people don't go about doing that. They don't bother, they don't go through the hassle of it. And so, if the marriage breaks up, and, frankly, if a single mother is marrying for the second time, odds are pretty good that she'll divorce the second guy, i.e. you. And if you're the third guy, it's guaranteed that she'll divorce you, right? Well, she divorces you, and you're never going to see the kid again. Even if you had this exemplary relationship, this perfect relationship, and you loved each other, and there's no question that you can form deep and profound attachments with somebody who is not your flesh and blood. I'm not doubting that. I'm not disputing that. On the contrary, I've seen that. I myself have been fortunate enough to experience it. Profound emotional attachments with people who are not my family members. Close friends, mentors, professors I've had, and all the rest of it. This is perfectly natural and one of the wonderful things about being alive, of being able to forge these profound and deep attachments, emotional attachments, love with people who are not your direct family. And therein lies the tragedy. You, as the stepfather, you created this profound relationship with your stepkid, and your wife, the mother of your stepkid, leaves you, and you never see the kid ever again. How heartbreaking that is. And that too I saw, and it was heartbreaking. It really was. Yeah. It's just a sad situation. I mean, Jesus Christ. But bottom line, you got to understand something. See, who marries a single mother? Who marries and becomes a stepfather to some other man's kid who gets cucked out? Not reverse cucked. No. Who gets cucked by another man? The beta male. Of course. The beta male. The beta male who winds up raising an alpha male's son. Because by definition, if some guy leaves some bastard behind and he saddles you into raising that kid, then you my friend, are the fucking beta male, and he is the fucking alpha. Yeah. See? Because it's a relative thing here. It's not like absolute categories, okay? So no matter how tough and cool and successful you might be, if you're raising another man's kid, you are beta. And you will forever be beta. And you will be perceived by others as beta. Because when they hear that you're raising another man's child, that's what everybody thinks. That you're a fucking cuck. That you're a fucking beta. And see, here's the thing. See, being beta is a choice. Being alpha is a choice. Choose wisely.